Prapanna parijataya Totravitraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamritaduhe Namaha.
Prapanna parijataya Totravitraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamritaduhe Namaha. We have been studying Bhagavad Gita with Shankaracharya's commentary, and on Tuesday, while discussing the Anubandha Chatushtay with special reference to the Sambandha of the four, we told you that I have not heard any special emphasis on this except from my Guruji, or I may add from people who have listened from my Guruji. Now in that respect, I want to tell you today in his own words what he talked about it. So two statements are there. He told me in the very beginning of my apprenticeship, or immediately after I had joined the Nagpur Ashram, he told me that what we have to read and how we have to study. And he told me we have to study only the Rishi Vakyas, not books by scholars. And Rishi is he in whom we see perfection. And then how to study that Rishi Vakya? He told me we have to study critically and devotionally. Critically and devotionally. And he himself explained that. Critically does not mean we have to criticize what they are telling. Critically means analytically. Why he is telling such and such a thing? Why at this point he is telling such and such a thing? So, as I told you on Tuesday, what change he wants. At this point, why he is telling like this? At this point, I used to use the expression psychological point. So, that is called critically. And then devotionally. He said, while explaining devotionally, that we have to fill the gap and then try to fill up the gap. That is, every sentence of the scriptures puts an ideal before us. And immediately, we have to introspectively compare ourselves with that ideal and see how big the gap is there. We will not be depressed by that, we know. But we must see, we cannot avoid that. We must see how big the gap is there. And with this feeling, we shall try to fill up the gap. This he termed as studying devotionally. Feeling from the heart, that is necessary. Now, at some other time, he told me with a example, feeling. He gave the example of a bhakti prasanga. Imagine, visualize, Radha is standing. Along with her, one friend is standing. At some distance, not far distance, somebody has uttered the name Shyama. He has called on Krishna, perhaps or not. But Radha tells her friend, "Oh friend, who has uttered Shyama's name? It has gone through my ears and it has touched me at the vital points, and I have become so restless, eager, yearning to see that Shyama." After telling this incident, he used to tell me that this is called Shravan in Vedantic scriptures. So I understood from that either or both. That with such a hankering for realization, we should listen. Or we should listen with our heart in such a way that such a hankering for realization we created. So that is, I wanted to tell you these two things about how to study. Now, that day we started reading the Shankar Bhashya. We read the first shloka, Om Narayana Paro Avyaktat Andam Avyakta Sambhavam Andasyantasthi me loka Sapta Dvipa cha medini. And we saw Narayana means the final gati, the final goal of human beings, and he is the all powerful, all knowing, all pervading creator. And he has created Narayan is Para. Narayan is beyond everything. Para Avyakta. Behind this universe, gross universe, there is subtle universe. Behind subtle universe, there is unmanifested universe. And that unmanifested universe, beyond that unmanifested, is Narayana's nature. So he's beyond everything. And when he creates like an egg. That means semi-manifested, manifested in the subtle order. And this egg, this semi-manifested world is within that avyakta, the indiscrete or primordial power of God to create. In that is included this semi-manifested world. And from that semi-manifested world, we get all the locusts, higher and lower, maybe 14 or whatever, and then including this earth of ours, which has 7 continents, 7 islands. And having created Bhagavan, that person with 6 characteristics which are permanently with him, having created Srishtva Idam Jagat, whatever we see in this changing world, tasya cha sthitim jikirshu, that he desired, having desired to maintain it, and that we discussed that God can have desires, but his desires are very different from ours. Our desires are sometimes fulfilled, sometimes not. We have to use so many instruments to bring them into fruition, and we have to take so many people's help, etc. Well, God, when he desires, he creates. Nothing obstructs him. He does not require any further instruments. So, having created, he desired to keep this world for some time, maintain this world. Up till this, we read this sentence. What he did, having desired to maintain, Marichadin Agre Srishtva Prajapatin, he created Prajapatis, that is, helpers to him in creation. They are called Prajapatis. And one name he has given, and like that, Marichi Adin. Marichi is the name of a Prajapati. In the Gita itself, Bhagavan tells in one place that Madbhava Manasa Jata Maharshaya Sapta Purve Manava Tatha Madbhava Manasa Jata. So, from my mind, they came into existence. So, in the beginning or first he created Marichi, etc., Prajapatis, lords of the world, helpers to him in the matter of creation. And then what he did, creating them, pravritti lakshanam dharmam grahayamasa vedoktam. Pravritti lakshanam, pravritti. Vritti means circling. Pra means forward. Pravritti means circling forward, means action. Means action, righteous action, which will lead to the creation further and further. That dharma, that righteous conduct, that righteousness, that characteristics, he taught them. Grahayamasa, he made them receive it. Pravritti Lakshanam Dharma. Where is that Pravritti Lakshana Dharma? In Vedas. Vedas is the knowledge. Let me tell you about the Vedas. As Swami Vivekananda has defined, as is traditionally known, that knowledge is of two types. Truth is of two types, he says. One available to the five senses of ordinary man, and on reason built upon that. That is called physical sciences. And the other type of truths, which are Yogaja Sukshma Shakti Grahya. He has written an essay in Bengali. The name is What is Hinduism? But later on, it was changed by others to Hinduism and Sri Ramakrishna. In that essay, he says that Yogaja Sukshma Shakti Grahya. Yoga, we have seen on the first day, is some method applied to realize God. Now, any method applied to realize God produces a subtle power, a subtle power of perception, a power of subtler perception. This is unknown to science, please. Science, five senses, that is gross, and by reason, logic built upon that. But the rishis gain a power. Now, for example, we see this world. Now, for example, we can use some language of the science, language. They believe that atoms, etc., and they call 92 elements and 100 and 105, etc. Later on, they came to know through nuclear physics that the matter is not so simple. In every atom, there is a central proton and one or several electrons move around it. There is a lot of molecular space also. Now, the word elements has gone away, but science never proposes that they will show us those electrons. Now, evidently, the electrons are not to be seen by senses, but they are there. That is called the subtle. Subtle matter means that matter which combines to become gross for our perception, but which itself in that form cannot be perceived by our five senses. Does not mean it does not exist. It means that Yogaja Sukshma Shakti Grahya, the yogis, the rishis, they have developed subtle power to perceive them. So that is called Vedoktam. He says that the knowledge gained by the second method is called Vedas. Knowledge gained by the first method is called physical science, and knowledge gained by the second method is called Vedas. So, this is the dharma which the Vedas are telling us. Through their subtler perceptions, the rishis have told us that if you do such and such meritorious action, you will get such and such results. Heavens of different types. They have directly pursued them and are telling us. Within this subtler perception of the Vedas, we may include three types of perception. The main is they perceived consciousness associated with matter, which no instrument of science can perceive. You have only to guess. The postmodern science says that there appears to be something called consciousness, and we have to study that, not beyond that. So the rishis found, perceived consciousness associated with matter. For example, there is fire in my kitchen, fire in your kitchen, fire in the forest, fire in the ocean, fire in our stomach. They perceived all this is one fire, and it is not physical material something. There is a consciousness associated with this universal fire, and they called it Agni Devata. Similarly, Vayu Devata, the king of gods, Indra Devata, Jala Devata, forest Devata, tree Devata. So they perceived consciousness associated with matter. That is the first subtler perception. Now, man is selfish by nature. So when he finds these gods, then he praises them. But along with that praise, he requests them, please give me this, please give me that, please assure this for me, for that. Now, all the laws of give and take will apply. If you want something from the gods, you have to do something for them. You have to give something for them. So came into existence these rituals called the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. That is why. And they saw this. This is not a guesswork. This is not a mathematical calculation. But they saw this karma leads to this heaven. So the second subtle thing they observed is the law. For example, there is a law of gravitation. This law is not gross. Law is subtle. The scientists have deduced it by reasoning. But the rishis see by their subtler perception. That is the difference. So they saw all the laws of creation, all the laws which govern karma and its result. There is a third item. Just now I explained that behind this gross world, there are the subtle elements. We do not perceive them, but the yogis do perceive them. So that is the third type of subtler perception. The subtle elements, the mind, the eye consciousness, the prakriti, and whatnot. So they perceived the subtle matter. So these are the three types of subtler perceptions called the Vedas. Now, in that Vedas, we find pravrutti lakshana dharma. That means you do this thing, do act, circle forward, and good actions, approved actions, which will lead to positive results, which will lead to your enjoyment in heaven, and which will help the Creator in furthering the cause of creation. So this is called Pravrutti Lakshana Dharma. He produced Marichi and other Prajapatis, lords of the beings, and he taught them. He made them receive the Pravrutti Lakshana Dharma, which is given in the Vedas. Tataha. And after that, Anyan, some others, also Sanaka Sanandanadin, they are counted as four generally. Though Gita is Maharshi as Saptapurvi, but here Sanaka Sanandanadin means Sanat Kumar, Sanat, Sanatan, Sanandan. So 4 are counted. So these Anya, not Prajapati. People of a different type. Anya means of a different type. Utpadya, having produced them. Srishva, Utpadya. Nivrutti Lakshanam Dharma. Nivrutti Lakshanam Dharma. Circling inwards. Meditation. Thinking of God. Perceiving the subtle matters. This type of religion, this type of virtuous actions, not circling forward, not helping in the creation, but realization of the reality, helping man in the realization of the reality, in the realization of his innermost soul. So nivrutti, circling inwards, that type of religion, that type of characteristic, that type of virtues he taught them. Another characteristics of that dharma is jnana vairagya lakshanam. Jnana means the nature of the reality. Jnanam does not mean any information. Jnana does not mean conviction, intellectual or whatever. Jnana means change of consciousness. Jnana means realization of the real nature of things of this world. That is the characteristic of that nivrutti lakshana dharma and also vairagya. Essential part of that lakshana is dispassion from this world. So pravritti lakshana dharma is those who will help in creation, go forward. But these people feel a dispassion. That is what the Narayana taught them. He taught them dispassion. Don't go toward the world. Don't go toward the enjoyment of the world, whether here or in heaven. Come back. Come back to realize your own real nature. Go inside to realize your own real nature and get the knowledge thereof. So Jnana Vairagya are both the characteristics of that virtue, that dharma, those characteristics, those meditative tendencies that he taught them. Nivrutti Lakshanam Dharma, Jnana Vairagya Lakshanam Grahayamasa. He made them receive that nicely. Dvido hi Vedokto Dharma, because Vedas contain both types of virtues. Vedas contain the righteous action leading to heavenly result, also helping Prajapati, creator in his matter of creation, side by side, giving you heaven prosperity, worldly prosperity, that is called pravritti lakshana. Divido vedokto dharma. The religion, the virtues, the righteous conduct, the righteous characteristics taught by the Vedas are of two kinds. One is of the nature of action, enjoy, and the pravritti lakshana, nivrutti lakshana cha, and nivrutti lakshana, as has been told before, go inside and realize your own nature. Both these types of religion, both these types of virtues, both these types of conduct, both these type of characteristics are in the Vedas. Vedas contain both pravritti lakshana dharma and nivritti lakshana dharma. Vedas contain only these two types of religion. What do those two types do for men and for the world? Jagata sthiti karanam. Both these tend to keep the world, unless there is pravritti lakshana, Unless there is action and activity, world cannot continue. World will go to tamogun, world will become jada, world will become inertia. So there has to be action in the world to keep the world going on. But side by side, the world needs the nivritti lakshana dharma to keep it. Otherwise, everybody follows pravritti lakshana dharma, the world will go to destruction zone. So keeping the world requires both these. It requires somebody to act and progress, worldly progress, going to heaven, producing machinery, producing wealth, pravritti lakshana dharma, necessary to maintain this world, but side by side, very necessary to keep this world is this nivritti lakshana dharma, the characteristics, the virtues by which a man goes inside and finds his own real nature. Unless some people do that, unless everybody does it to some extent, the world will not continue. So, Jagata Sthiti Karanam, both these. Pravritti Lakshana Dharma and Nivritti Lakshana Dharma of the Vedas is the cause of the stability of the world. And for men, what it does? Praninam, for the beings in the world, what does it do? What does these two dharmas do? Sakshat, Abhyudaya, Nishrayasa Hetu. Two different results they will give for men. For the world, both will help to stabilize the world. For men, for beings, they will yield two different types of results. Pravritti Lakshana Dharma will give them worldly prosperity. Not any prosperity, not by killing others, not by doing bad things and selfish things. No. Abhyudaya means doing something, we may say religiously, doing something with God in mind, God has created. So, Abhyudaya is that righteous path of worldly prosperity that it does for the living beings, mind you. But those who follow the Nivritti Lakshana Dharma, it becomes the Nishrayasa Hetu. Nishrayasa, final redemption, final benefit is moksha. Final benefit, as we discussed on the first day, is to gain perfection. As God is perfect, so man becomes perfect. So that is called final Nishrayasa. So for world, both the dharmas are useful to keep the world steady. For individuals, the pravritti lakshana dharma will give him worldly progress, and the nivritti lakshana dharma hetu will become the cause of his the ultimate beneficial thing, which is called perfection or moksha or whatever you like, or realization of God, or realization of his own nature, that ultimate beneficial thing, Nishrayasa, they will get. That is what the Vedas teach. Ya Sadharma, that religion which helps the world to stabilize, which helps living beings to worldly prosperity and realization of their own nature. That is that religion, yeah, sadharmo, brahmanadde varnibhi ashramivi cha shreyorthivi anushtiyamana. Shreyorthi. Shreya means ultimate good. So everybody wants ultimate good. Even worldly prosperity will ultimately lead to ultimate good. Man will evolve through that righteous worldly prosperity and come to ultimate good, because the word used is Shreya Urthivi. Those who want their ultimate gain, those who want their ultimate benefit, those who want ultimately something which is beneficial, such people, Shreyorthivi, such people, if they don't want, then Vedas are not for them. If they do not want worldly prosperity, if they do not want to realize their own real nature, if they do not want to realize their own real nature, ultimately after worldly prosperity, then they don't come together. They do as they like. They do as the desires guide them. So, anushtiyamana, that has to be practiced. Pravritti Lakshana Dharma, hearing will not do anything. Pravritti Lakshana Dharma has to be practiced to ultimately gain them Shreya. And Nivritti Lakshana Dharma also has to be practiced to gain the ultimate result. Now, who will do this? Brahmana Devi Varnevi. Brahmana De, Brahmana Ade Varnevi. That means Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Adi does not give any limited inclination. Adi means etc. Adi does not mean etc. like English. Adi means first count Brahmins and then Kshatriyas, then Vaishyas, then Shudras, and the Indian life is divided into 4 stages. The student stage, Brahmacha, Ashrami B. Here names are not given. Brahmana, the Varna name is given first one. And Ashrami B means Brahmacharya Ashram, Grihastha Ashram, Vanaprastha Ashram, Sannyas Ashram. That is how the Indians' life was traditionally divided. Swami Pitambarananda said later on they have become only 2. Either you marry or become a citizen or become a renunciate. But originally or even today, it is divided into 4 stages of life. Now, these caste is a very rough, incorrect translation of this varna. Varna means color. Color means, Gita will explain later on that sattva, raja, tama, 3 colors are there in human mind. And they, less or more, determine what varna you belong to. So we shall discuss those things when we come to, but Brahmanadi, Varnivi, and also Ashrami Bicha, also those who belong to these 4 stages. So he may be a Brahmin, but he is Brahmin Brahmachari, Brahmin Grihastha, Brahmin Vanaprastha, Brahmin Sannyasi. We shall see again what are these ashramas, but the meaning of the word ashrama is limited. That also I learned from my Guruji. Ashraya means support. If we take the support of something for our realization of God, aim is Shreya. For that Shreya, if we take support of something, that something will be called ashrama. Ramakrishna Ashrama. That means we are taking the support of Ramakrishna ideal to get our desired end. That is the meaning of Ramakrishna Ashrama. Similarly, Brahmacharya Ashrama, Grihastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha, gone into the forest Ashrama, Sannyasa Ashrama, given up everything Ashraya. Ashraya of that where everything is given up or surrendered to God. So these people will have to practice religion taking support of one of these stages, and people will be divided according to their sattva, raja, tama preponderance into Brahmin, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, and they will all have to practice this to get the benefit, to get worldly prosperity, to get ultimate result, through worldly prosperity. That is what is Shankaracharya says, that this is Narayana ordained. Narayana created the world, and in order to stabilize the world. He created some people and taught them Pravritti Lakshana Dharma. He created some other people and taught them Nivritti Lakshana Dharma. And both of them are in the Vedas. And that has to be practiced by graded people. Society is a graded affair. So by the graded people, according to their grade, they have to practice. And according to the stage of life, they have to practice. So then they will get this result. Now what happens? He has created and people are following this. But dirghena kalena, long time passes. What is time? Time is nothing but a process. Suppose we put a seed in the ground and take proper care, water and all that, it will sprout, then stem, then leaves, then flower, then fruits. So this is the process called time. Now, suppose we do not put a seed, then what will happen? Or we put a seed and do not take any care, what will happen? The seed may be washed out. So, dirghena kalena, long process of time, where people, what did they did? Anushtatrunam kamodbhavat. Something is there, natural in man, wrong but natural, natural but wrong, downgrading a man, and that is the desire, selfish enjoyment desire. Now, struggle is there. Man has to do pravritti lakshana dharma, nivritti lakshana dharma, both may be against his ordinary base desires. But if he does not practice, then that desire will overpower him. So, that is what happened by long passage of time. So long as people were practicing that, there was no problem. But slowly, because slackness enters, in our daily behavior, we see that slackness enters, and then the desires shoot up. Kamodbhavat. What happens? Anushtatrunam, those who were supposed to practice, in them desires arose. Hiyamana viveka vijnana hetukena. Hiyamana, that means present participle, started going down. Viveka vijnana, that experiential knowledge we get out of discrimination. Viveka vijnana. We know what is real and what is unreal. When we do not practice it, we lose the experience of that discrimination, and then desires are grown. So when the desires grow, we lose Hiyaman, we go on decreasing in Viveka Vijnana Hetukena. That means this is the cause of the degradation of Viveka Vijnana. The cause is desire, dirghena kalena, adharmena abhibhuyamane dharme. So opposite to virtue, both pravritti lakshana and nivritti lakshana, is adharma, non-virtue, vice, bad things. And those bad tendencies overpower the good tendencies. So when we allow the desires to rise, after a long time, immediately we will not see. Sri Ramakrishna has given a beautiful example. In Calcutta, there is a underground fort, and that is 7 stories below the ground. But when we go to that, the slope is so gradual, we never understand we are going down. But after we walk along, we will find that we are 4 stories, 5 stories below the ground. So, dirghena kalena, there is a problem. When the mind deviates, goes towards wrong things. In the beginning, we do not understand we are doing things wrong. Just a little, just a little. But that just a little when goes on increasing, then we go down. And then adharmena vibhuyamane dharme. Pravardhamane cha dharme. They not only subjugate this pravritti nivritti lakshana dharma, but the adharma, the wrong thing, goes on increasing. Then what will happen to the stability of the world? For the stability of the world, he has created pravritti lakshana, nivritti lakshana dharma. What will happen to that when such a situation takes place? Jagata sthitim parivipalayeshu. He is desirous of protecting the stability of the world. Desirous of protecting the world. Now he says, desirous of protecting the stability of the world. Sa-adhikarta Narayana Kyo Vishnu. That very Narayana who created the world in the beginning and his another name is Vishnu. Vishnu means pervading. Vishnu means immanent God. And that is useful for the stability of the world. So that name of the Narayana is Vishnu. What did he do? Bhaumasya Brahmano Brahmanatvasya Rakshanartham Brahmanatva, not Brahmins, but the Brahminhood. The Brahminhood may be found in Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras anywhere. But that Brahminhood has to be Bhaumasya Brahmano. On this earth, how will find Brahman? In the form of Brahmanatva. The Brahman in this world is nothing but the quality of a Brahmin, that Rakshanartham. If he protects that, then everybody follows him. If the Brahmins, you may say, rigidly follow their own life, ideal life, then others are bound to follow them. So he wants to protect, desire of being protecting the world. He wants to protect the Brahminhood, which is the Brahman on earth. What he did? Devakyam Vasudeva Amshena Krishna Kila Sambhavuva. Such a Narayana Krishna Kila Sambhavuva. That very Narayana Sambhavuva nicely formed himself into Krishna. What is this Sambhavuva? We are born again and again due to desires, due to unfulfilled desires, our own selfish desires. He is not like that. He nicely are born. Nicely means only to protect the world is born, not for his own sake. That is Sambhavuva. Sam means Samyak, rightly. Babuva became. He rightly became. That means without any external compunction, without any individual axe to grind, he became Krishna. How he became Krishna? Devakyam, in Devaki, Vasudeva Amshena, by a part of Vasudeva. That means Vasudeva is the father, Devaki is the mother. In this way, apparently, Vasudeva is the father, Devaka is the mother, but actually, that very Narayana formed himself into Krishna. So it is an immaculate birth. It is not by the usual sexual union, mind you. Though a part of Vasudeva is mentioned, because the husband is necessary for a proper child to be born. That much. Maybe his part appeared, but Narayana himself appeared as Krishna. No, I may comment something here. Sri Ramakrishna says, or many people think, for jnanis there is no avatar. That jnani means only a mold of mind, too much emphasizing the transcendent aspect of Brahman. Jnanis like Shankaracharya are telling specifically that very Narayan became Krishna. So how can you say the perfect jnanis do not recognize an incarnation? No, why he did that? What will happen by that? Brahmanatva se rakshana, again Brahmanatva. By protecting the Brahminhood, rakshita syat, Vedika dharma, the Vedika dharma, pravritti and nivritti rakshana dharma will be protected. Tad adhinatvad varnashrama vedana. All the varnas and ashramas different are under the Brahmin, under the idealistic man, Sattuguni man, which is called a Brahmin. So if Brahminhood is protected, everybody will follow their religion. This is what he thought. This is what happens. And so, Rakshita Syat Vediko Dharma, the Vedic religion does not mean a particular religion. You have seen Pravritti Lakshana and Nivritti Lakshana are the two types of religion taught in the Vedas, in the subtle sciences, and they infinite. Without beginning and without end is that knowledge called the Vedas. And such Vedic Dharma, don't think that Hindu Dharma or Musalman Dharma or Vedic Dharma or non-Vedic Dharma, no. Vedic Dharma means the real religion, which is Pravritti Lakshana and Nivritti Lakshana, told in the Vedas, found in the 4 books called the Vedas. Now again, we are reminded, such a Bhagavan, that Bhagavan. I told Bhaga has 6 characteristics. Jnana, Aishwarya, Shakti, Bala, Virya, Teja. Jnana, Aishwarya, the bossing nature. Shakti, Bala, Virya, 3 forms of power only are mentioned. Shakti, Bala and Virya. And Tej, Tejo bhi, Sada Sampanna. He always has them permanently. We stop here. Tirunatmikam Vaishnavim Swam Maya Mura Prakritim Vashikritya. We'll take it up tomorrow. For a few days, let us go 45-50 minutes each day, not more. Till we come to the grips, till we proceed fast. So now let us proceed. Slowly, this sentence we shall complete tomorrow. Jnana Ishwarya Shakti Bala Virya Tejo Vi Sada Sampanna Sacha Bhagavan. What he did, that we shall see. Who he is and what he did. He appeared as Krishna and he is endowed with all these things. But what he did, that we shall see. Tomorrow, please. Om Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetra Ikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita-amrita Duhe Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna.
Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita-amrita Duhe Namaha.